Neil followed up with his Giant's Might spell for good measure.
Hey everyone, I've been using Audible for 3 years now, and in this video I'll be talking about what books I read and what are my favorite books and how I felt about using Audible. There was up and downs, and stick until the end of this video. I have a special gift that's waiting for you. I started listening to audiobooks in 2021. I could barely understand basic words in English. Then I heard about Audible from a video by the John Fish. I opened the Audible website. Hallelujah, it was a beautiful website. Tried out a few samples. Then I started my first membership using the John Fish coupon code. With $4 monthly, I started a few books from the Plus category. At first it was so hard for me to figure out what was going on. I listened to Caroline Reckoning, The Queen's Gambit, and Lost Children. But I felt like I was being limited by the Plus category. Every time I search for good books, it requires credit or money. So I started the Premium Plus membership. And the first book I bought was Pirate Tribes. Yeah, book 2. I didn't know there was a series of books. After purchasing a book for $14, I wanted to get much out of it. Listening to the book every day for 30 minutes at least, getting frustrated, jumping back to the previous chapter. Finally finished the book in 6 months. But I had no clue what the book was all about. I only catch up with the words I know. You might be thinking, oh, you just wasted your time. I'll say yes, and it was not enough. So I started the book again. This time I finished the book in 3 months. I researched online for the explanation, backstory, and watched a lot of videos. With the understanding I've got in 9 months, I talked about the book to my colleagues at office. Now I understand English words better and knows pronouns for a lot of words. And I wanted to read the first book of the series, but I didn't like the book. I saw eye-catching book from the trending category game, The Martian by Andy Weir. After listening to a lot of audiobooks, I saw my library was filled with only fantasy and sci-fi books. So I listened to more sci-fi books, fantasizing actions in real life. I listened to all the episodes of The Way of the Futurist podcast and many more random books. Pride and Prejudice, When You Find Me, Oracle, How the Internet Happened, The Artificial Intelligence Countercurrent, One Little Mistake, Cold Water Wayne, and Be Well. Then I went back to sci-fi and fantasy books. Stanley's Alliance, The Science of Sci-Fi, The Sandman, Foundation, Robot Rights, The End of Life as We Know It, Computerized at You, Impact Winter, Dune, Animal Farm, Forgot Nothing 2, I, Robot, Fairy Tale, The Institute, All Systems Red, and finally He Who Fights with Monsters 1, 2, 3. My favorite ones of all time were Dune, He Who Fights with Monsters, and The Foundation. And today's sponsor is me. Bruh. If you need Android and iOS mobile apps or even full-stack website development, contact Happy as a Developer. I'm on Upwork and Fiverr. Wait, only 1% of you subscribe to me? Beat 1% by subscribing to Happy as a Developer channel. I also read books for self-development and for expanding my knowledge. The books are Living Love Thinking, The End of Ownership, Short Stories, That Game of Quality Assurance, The Science of Storytelling, How to Write the Book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, How to Talk to Anyone, Blood, Sweat and Pixels, Game Dev, Think Like a Game Designer, The Art of War, Propaganda, How Propaganda Works, and finally, The Six-Figure Freelancer. As you can see, I read books about game development, and as I started coding my own games, I didn't like how different it is than playing a game. After 3 months, I decided not to develop games. And this because one of the principles I've learned from He Who Fights with Monsters, one of the antagonists once said, "Having many different types of businesses will make you useless in combat. Instead, you should be working on absorbing essence abilities that can work together. It's crucial as you level up." So I started thinking about what my current abilities are, what I need to learn, and how that new ability is going to work together. And now I'm glad that fantasy books having a positive, good impact on my real life problems. I also listen to podcasts on Audible. The podcasts are This Week in Tech, Ask the Tech Guys, Daily Tech News Show, Burger Tech, Tech Space, and my favorite one, The Way of the Futurist. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. I pre-ordered Will Smith's book. He voice-overed the book by himself, he sings, he shows emotions, he talks about what disciples made him, and this is the best book I've read so far. As I was listening to a lot of books, I started reviewing and leaving the conclusion on my Notion page. My next goal is to take notes for every chapter. Listen carefully, when you are using Audible, don't just buy the book. Get the Premium Plus membership with $14. And you'll receive 1 credit. 1 credit is good for any audiobook regardless of price. Audible gives you a chance to return a book and get your 1 credit back if you don't like the voice actor of the book. There's a limit to this feature, so don't think of abusing it. Before we end the video, I have a gift that makes a lot of difference. No one on the internet talks about it. Up until this point, I was just a listener. My speaking was not well, my accent was horrible, but there's a secret to solve these problems. All audiobooks have a professional voice actor. Every single word and accent are validated, so you select the book depending on the voice actor, and you reflect this accent for yourself. To make this simple to understand, I will show you how it's done. Ability, room mat, proof, spell, boom. This ability has various subtitles, contingent on the fact, cost low mana. Play the book, remember the sentence, say it yourself. 0%.
Bestow a ring of random runes around an ally. Each rune is associated.
Make sure to read the sentence loud with the right pronunciation. It's gonna improve your accent very fast. I did this for only 3 months and I'm talking like this.
Elemental damage was the most common. Varieties.
And this is how I listen to audiobooks for 3 years. If you like this video, please leave a like and comment, subscribe to your friend, happy yourself, see you in the next video, peace.